Muhammad was a con man. So here I want to present what I understand to be Muhammad's theory. Uh, I'm using this terminology specifically to help people understand, well, at least my view of how things work, but this is not just my view. This is epistemology. Everything is a theory. Uh, and we need to have a method by which we judge theories that we use for all theories. We should not have different methods for different categories of theories. So here's the theory that Muhammad presented to us, which people call Islam, by the way. Muhammad's theory is that there's one God and that we should follow Muhammad's moral example because he's the best moral example. He also says that God is perfect and God determines what is moral and what is not. And one of God's morals is that Muslims must kill ex-Muslims for criticizing Islam. This is known as like an apostasy law, death penalty for leaving your religion. Um, and here's my criticism of that theory. So our morals today, we understand them to be better than this. We recognize that the death penalty for leaving Islam is immoral. And we know that its purpose is to protect Islam from criticism like this post. Obviously, ex-Muslims want to keep their heads attached to their necks, like me. I want to keep my head attached to my neck. And this explains why Muhammad's theory still survives in the minds of Muslims today. If there was no death penalty for apostasy, Islam would have died long ago. I remember a imam saying this because he was asked about the apostasy law, and he said, well, we have to have it because if we didn't, there would be no Islam anymore. This apostasy example is just one of thousands of examples of how we're better than Islam. Our moral standards are far higher than Islam's moral standards, and we keep widening the gap. We continue to evolve our moral standards while Islam stays frozen in 7th century Arab culture. This evidence contradicts Muhammad's theory. In other words, this proves Islam wrong. And I put here hashtag better than Muhammad. And that's it. That's my argument. That is my hypothesis. Does anyone have a counter argument or evidence against my hypothesis? So somebody replied, and I remember this. It gets really deep into the weeds. I don't know if I'm going to go through all of this. I'm going to maybe at least go through some of it. So this person, I remember talking to him in another post related to this before this one. So this is not actually where it starts. So he says, divine command theory is a moral theory which basically goes, God said it, therefore it's moral. And I want to add here, this actually helped me rewrite my post. My second or third sentence right here, I added just to account for what Muse of the Abyss says, the divine command theory. Let me continue and then I'll tell you my assessment of this. He says, or she, it's also the theory on which, you guessed it, Islamic morality is based on. Hence, Muhammad is the most moral by that moral theory because of how much Allah loves him and stuff. So, what this person is doing is treating the divine command theory as a separate theory distinct from Muhammad's theory or Muhammad's claim about God and Islam. And he's like trying to say something like the divine command theory, if it's true, would mean that Muhammad's theory is true. But the problem is that theory came from or is part of Muhammad's theory. So you can't use it to argue or say anything about Muhammad's theory. It is part of Muhammad's theory. Um, so my reply was, well, we don't know that God said it. We only know that Muhammad said that God said it. Um, so let's see here. He says Islam can't be proven wrong using the specific kind of moral argument you're using. Yeah, I don't think he understands my argument at all. I think he's seeing it as the divine command theory is separate from Muhammad's theory. So I said to him, Islam is a theory that Muhammad told us. And I refuted Muhammad's theory. In other words, I refuted Islam. He thought I got ticked off. I don't know why. So then I clarified, rewriting my original OP, which what I read to you guys was the latest version. Let's see. So picking out the what part I focused on, he says, so yeah, it's his claim that Allah exists that we actually have to target the moral argument. So that's this line of talking is what got me to rewrite my post so that it's clear to people and to this particular person that the divine command theory is part of Muhammad's theory, not a separate thing. He keeps going, saying, he also says that God is perfect and God determines what's moral, what's not. So when you be saying, but our morals are clearer than Muhammad's, well, a Muslim could just say, haha, you silly Billy, it's Allah who decides what's moral and what's not you. And my reply to that is, why do you, this Muslim, believe that? It's because Muhammad said so. And that's nonsense. That's not how anything works. It's no better than if you ask a 6-year-old why he believes something and he says, my daddy said so. That's not a reason to believe anything. And he continues, and that like is enough of a counter argument if someone already believes that Allah decides morality and that Allah exists. And I said, yeah, they don't know how to think. They're not thinking scientifically. Um, he wrote a lot this time. Let's see what I picked out. Okay. He said, but what is moral? What is immoral? That depends on the moral theory you follow. I said, only one can be correct, the rest are wrong, or they're all wrong, and one of them is the best and can be improved so that it's continuously or conclusively better than all the alternatives. This is how the scientific approach works. I'm not going to go further on this one. I don't want to click here and ruin the screen, and this is just going in circles around the same topic. Somebody replied, Muhammad is a conman because he convinced his best friend Abu Bakr to release his 6-year-old daughter to him. Abu Bakr also paid off Muhammad's debts when the broke-ass illiterate died penniless. Summary, Muhammad tapped ass for free and made other men pay for his bills because Allah ordained it. Sadaqullah Azim cookies and cream. I've never seen that before. Well, I mean, obviously I saw it when I read this 16 days ago, but I forgot already. Um, Someone says, and I remember this person now, um, can you really prove morals to someone who believes strongly in Islam? If I believed with all of my mind that someone is the all knowing, all righteous God that decides what is moral and what is not, I would rather trust his morals than the morals of another human being who, according to my God, is misguided and morally wrong for challenging him. There's also the issue of vagueness in Islam. Even when something is said in a clear sentence that doesn't seem like it can mean anything other than what it says, for example, Aisha clearly told her name in an authentic hadith. I've heard lots of Muslims say that no, she was actually another age and she just said her age incorrectly because of that time. People started counting their age after puberty. Now, of course, if I ask any of them that their source or what their source is for that claim, they won't have a good answer, but they'll make another excuse or say they don't know enough. It's really hard to change your beliefs when you've been believing something that you consider the most important thing in your life. I feel like moral arguments won't work on anyone that doesn't already have some doubt in the religion. Um, so, yeah, if you're asking, can I have a rational discussion with someone who refuses to adopt a rational attitude to the discussion? The answer is no. To the part about he said the issue of vagueness, I said, well, that problem's already been solved in science. We reject all claims that are vague. That's it for this video.